Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So my name is Scott Bradley. I am the Executive Director of your Thunder Bay Historical Museum Society. Thank you to those joining us online and in person tonight. I would like to begin tonight by acknowledging the original custodians of this land and paying our respects to the elders, past, present, and future, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the culture, and the hopes of Indigenous peoples. We also recognize that we are meeting on the traditional land of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and to acknowledge the role of the Métis settlement in the development of our community. A bit of housekeeping: if you have not been here before tonight, there is a restroom just outside the doorway on the right, and there's another set down on the second floor. This lecture is being recorded, and those joining online, we cannot see you or hear you, but everyone in the room, please think about silencing your electronic devices, CD players, and boom boxes before we begin. There are refreshments available tonight. Coffee and tea will be up here in a little while, but there is some water, and we have some food from the Bannock lady tonight. And I've heard the blueberry makes people's heads turn, so it's going to be good. There will be time for questions and answers after tonight's presentation. And so tonight's presentation is sponsored by Lakehead University's Department of History. And I would also like to take some time right now to recognize some distinguished attendees to tonight's lecture. Please stand, give a wave or a woo, and I apologize if I butcher anyone's name. So the director of St. Andrew's Dewdrop Inn, Sally Kokwaton. There we go. Thank you for being here. The previous director of the Thunder Bay Art Gallery, is Sharon here? Not yet. Okay. Sharon Godwin was supposed to be here. The past president of the society, Mark Chocla, is here. Mark. And just a general recognition, we thank all of our members of the society for all of their support and for joining us for events like tonight. Our speaker tonight is Elder Sheila De Corte. She is an Ojibwe Elder and Knowledge Keeper from Animkii Wajiw, otherwise known as Thunder Mountain or Mount McKay. Located in Fort William First Nation in the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, her spirit name is Niibin Giimiwan, meaning summer rain. She is of the Turtle Clan, and Sheila was born and raised in Fort William, Ontario. She retired from the Federal Public Service in January 2020 to allow her to the freedom to follow her cultural spirit wherever it may lead her. And now, Sheila, I would like to offer you this tobacco tie from my heart and to you. Please do offer us guidance and share with us all of your knowledge, and so that we may all become wiser and understand everything better.
Okay, miigwech. Bonjour, Gakanawea. Hello, everyone. Nindishnikaz Niibin Giimiwan, Benezi Wazasun, Anemki Wajiw, Nindoji, Misquatezi, Nindodam. As I was introduced in my bio, my name is Summer Rain, and I come from the Thunderbird Nest of Thunder Mountain, located in the community of Fort William First Nation, and I'm Turtle Clan. But I'm also known as Sheila De Corte. That is my birth name. And it's an honor to be sharing some of my knowledge and my experience as a water walker with you tonight. But before I get started, I want, as you can see, I was offered Sema tobacco. There's tobacco in this tie. And that's one of our 4 sacred medicines. And it was given to us by the Creator to open that communication doorway between the physical world and the spiritual world. It was never meant to be used in the form of cigarettes as it is today. It's meant to be used to honor my bundle, for example, and to give thanks for me to be here. It's also our telephone to the Creator. When we hold this tobacco up, the Creator is looking to see who's calling. And all ears are opened up so He could hear us and respond to what it is that we are asking. We use Sema to give thanks to the water that gives us life, because without water there would be no life. And basically what it does, it travels ahead of everything else and helps guide the direction of how this evening is going to unfold. And so what I'm going to do is go over here, and I apologize for those that are online. When I go over to my bundle, you may not be able to hear me online, but you should be able to see me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to light my smudge. I'm just going to smudge my bundle, smudge into the 4 directions, and then I will do an opening prayer, territorial protocol, land acknowledgement, and then I'll share a water song, and then I'll get into my presentation. All right? I also have one of the other 4 sacred medicines, which is sage, in here. This is a form of ceremony, and what it does is helps set the tone for the evening, clear away any negative energies that might be here. So when we're smudging, it's like washing our hands. We're cleansing ourselves. And then we bring the smoke up to our mouth so that we'll speak kindly to one another and always speak the truth, speak with kindness and honesty. We smudge our ears so that we'll be able to hear what it is that we need to hear this evening with a good open mind. Our eyes so we'll be able to see what's being shared and see the good in people, and also to see the beauty in creation. We smudge our hearts so we'll be loving and kind to one another. And then we bring the smudge over our head and down our body to remove any negative energies that we might be carrying. We want to leave those out of here for this evening, just so that we could participate in this webinar, this seminar, in a good way. I'm just going to smudge into the 4 directions. And as the scent of the smudge comes towards you, you could just think of what I just shared with you to help clear your body and mind and spirit so that you could receive these teachings in a good way.
Recording in progress.
So now I'm going to do my opening prayer and territorial protocol and land acknowledgement. Ojibwe Giimiwan, Nokmasak Mishomasak, Niibin Giimiwan, Niibin Giimiwan, Anemki Wajiw Doji, Miskwatezin Dodam. Giga Simoke, Miigwech Gamatgos, Miigwech Anemki Wajiw, Miigwech Anishinaabe Gichigami and Nanibiju. Miigwech Wabano, Jawano, Nigabewanong, Giwedanong. Miigwech Mama Aki, Mashkiki Asema, Mashkide Wingwash Kishkandag. Miigwech Nokmiskizis, Mishomaskizis. Miigwech Nibiwabo, Miigwech Nuden, Miigwech Mitugug, Miigwech Mino Bama Diswan. Miigwech Nungam. Miigwech Wabano, Jawano, Nigabino, Giwedanong. Miigwech Miniyawan, Minosewan, Minodebsewan, Minobigihausen. Miigwech. We ask you, Creator, to help this evening go in a good way. And we also ask for special prayers for those that are suffering from the loss of loved ones, or they're dealing with illnesses that they need to get through, that you help them with those difficult times. Miigwech. So in the language, I'm giving thanks to all our protectors around us, giving thanks to Mother Earth for everything that she provides in the way of medicines, giving thanks to our protectors, Thunder Mountain, the Sleeping Giant, Lake Superior, giving thanks to the 4 directions, Father, Sun, Grandmother Moon, for everything that they provide to us. And most importantly, the 3 elements that gives us life: the wind, the water, and the trees. Because without those 3 elements, there would be no life. And so, like I said, a lot of miigweches. So now I'm going to share a song. But I didn't want to do that song just yet. So I'm put my drum back. I'm going to share a water song with you, just to start the evening off. This water song is called Niibin Giimiwan, and it was shared by a woman by the name of Doreen Day. And one week, she was attending a water conference. And every day she would stop at the water and offer sema to the water and tell the water that she loves her, she respects her, and she thanks her. And on the second or third day, the grandson who was with her says, "No, miss, don't you think the water would like it if you sang to her?" And she goes, "Yes, grandson, you're right." So this is the tune that she came up with. It's sung like a lullaby. It's sung without a shaker or a drum. And on the fourth or fifth day, the grandson says, "No, miss, don't you think the water would like it if you sang it in our language?" And she says, "Yes, grandson, you're right." So I'm going to sing the song in the language, but what it translates to is, water, we love you, we respect you, and we thank you. Niibin Giimiwan Niibin Water, we love you. Water, we respect you. Water, we thank you. All right. So I want to say miigwech for coming this evening to share in what I'm going to be sharing with you. Some of you might wonder, what is a water walker? Who is a water walker? Now, how am I supposed to... I should have got you to show me how to work this thing. Nope. Okay, how does it work? I don't want to push the wrong button. Is it the arrow? Oh, that's what I did.
Pointed at the laptop.
What? At the laptop? Yeah. Oh. There, that's a water walker. Yeah, so this is obviously a picture of me next to Anishinaabe Giimiwan, which is Lake Superior. That is the name for Lake Superior, Anishinaabe Giimiwan. All 5 Great Lakes have an Anishinaabe name for them. You could just say Giimiwan, which just means big lake, but each and every one of them has a different name. And so because we're here in Thunder Bay, this is the one that I'm going to mainly focus on this evening. So a water walk is, and I don't really want to get too hung up on pictures. I didn't even want to have a PowerPoint, but for certain points in time, I want to share a few pictures just so that you have a little bit of a visual. So what it is, it's an official Anishinaabe ceremony, and it's conducted by women and men too. It all began, well, I won't get there just yet, but it's an official ceremony where we carry the water in the copper pail, and then there's a staff. And it's the women that carry the water because we are the life givers. We are the ones that could bring life into this world. So we are the ones that carry the water in the copper pail. Men, when they join us, do not carry the water because they are not life givers. But they do have a role in these walks, and that is to be the staff carrier. They're the ones that carry the staff, and they are the protectors of the water and the water walker, the woman. They walk beside the water walker or behind her. The only time they ever go in front of her is to get her safely across a roadway or a highway, because sometimes that's where we walk. And the staff carrier is the one that could stop and offer tobacco to an animal that we might pass by, and to send that animal on a safe journey. And they'll also stop at a body of water or a creek to offer the same, because the woman that's carrying the water needs to be acting like the water, becoming the water, walking straight forward. She could walk as slow or fast as she wishes, but the one things that she doesn't do is stop, and she doesn't look behind her. She needs to focus. Water doesn't go backwards. It's always moving forward. So we need to act like the water. So this is a picture of myself and my nephew, Nolan. I'm so happy that he joined us back in 2018. And so he's my protector. He's walking beside me. And as you can see, this is the world. And that just demonstrates how much water there is around the world. A lot of water, right? And then these are the 5 Great Lakes. These are the Anishinaabe names for the Great Lakes. And so as you can see, they're all called Gitchigami. And then these are all, just a little example of all the lakes and rivers and springs that are all around Northern Ontario. So how did I become a water walker? Well, I was called to the water in 2017. And it was Grandmother Josephine Mandamin, who's the grandmother water walker, that walked around all the 5 Great Lakes with other grandmothers, starting back in 2003. And this was her last walk, and I was called to join them. With my name being Summer Rain and being Turtle Clan, as I continue to learn about my cultural journey and walk down that path, I'm realizing more of what my responsibilities are. And so I was called to the water in 2017. And then after returning home in 2017, I didn't quite get home yet. This is just an example of when this walk in 2017 started in Spirit Mountain in Duluth, Minnesota, and it ended in Matane, Quebec. So my friend Kim Hillman from Wikwemikong, who was also from the same community as Grandmother Josephine, she joined me on that walk that year. And this is just a little example of when we do a touchdown. So on a big walk like that, we walk for 8 to 12 hours or 15 hours, depends, right, in a day. So periodically we have to do a touchdown. What we call a touchdown is a time when we put the water and the staff to rest for the night. And then we all have a rest, and then we go back and we do our touch up wherever we left off the day before. So this is just an example of how a touchdown is done. There's a grandfather rock that is placed down. We offer sema, tobacco. The copper pail will hover over the grandfather and go in a circle 4 times. Depending on the lead walker, they sometimes might touch the copper pail on the grandfather. But you got to be ever so gently, because it's holding water, and we don't want to put a hole in the pail. And then the staff will touch the grandfather also. And then they're covered up and put away for the night. And then the next day we start where we left off. So this is the end of the 2017 water walk. So I came home and I started having, the rivers here in Thunder Bay started to speak to me. And they started telling me I need to do something. I need to do something for the rivers here in Thunder Bay, because the water spirits that live in the waters, all the waters have is a living entity, living being. And she was hurting. She's been hurting because of all the deaths of these Indigenous youth that come to Thunder Bay to go to school over a period of years. And they were being found in our rivers. So I'm sure you've all heard of the 7 Fallen Feathers. That's why I have a book there that was written by Tanya Talaga, because the vision I had was I needed to bring water down from Loc Lomond, which is a lake up on Mountain McKay. Are you all aware that there's 2 lakes up there? At one time, the city of Thunder Bay used to be a dual water source. The southern part of the city would get water from Loc Lomond, and then the Port Arthur people would get water from Lake Superior. So that water up there to me is sacred, because it's a spring-fed lake and it's located on our sacred mountain, Anemki Wajiw. So I had a vision that I needed to bring water down from Loc Lomond through ceremony and bring some of that water and add it to the rivers to honor those youth that have been found in these rivers and to bring healing to these rivers. So I brought my vision to Grandmother Josephine to get her guidance and support on that. So she agreed and said, yeah, but you have to do 4 years, she says. And so not necessarily 4 years of bringing water down from Loc Lomond, but I had to commit to a 4-year water walk commitment. And because it was difficult, this is just a picture of Loc Lomond, if you've never ever been up there. This is the early spring of 2018. And then it was raining a little bit, so we had to walk out. And that's us still walking out. The picture on the left is Grandmother Josephine's husband, Andrew. And again, that's myself and my friend, Kim. So we picked up the water at sunrise and we came out. But there's a process. We have to, we've got to go speak to the water spirit to make our petition known that this ceremony that we want to do, and we provide an offering. There's work that needs to be done. We don't just go pick up the water. There's protocols and a process that we have to follow. And because it was difficult to get up there that first year, we committed to the 1 year, fulfilled my vision, and then the next 3 years we decided to do in the end, 4 directions. So this was in the south. The next 3 walks we continued to go clockwise, and we picked up water from Kekapeka Spring, and then Current River and Mackenzie River. So these are some walkers as we're walking through the community of Fort William First Nation, Sandy Beach and Chippewa area. We had quite a few walkers, and here you see a lot of walkers are walking. This is our first walk, so a lot of people just wanted to follow behind. Normally, it's done with 2 people at a given time. 2 people are walking, one's carrying the water, one's carrying the staff. It's done like a relay. But this particular walk, there's a lot of people that just wanted to come and join and walk with us. And then and we ended that walk at the Niibin McIntyre floodway. And then in 2019, that was our 2nd year. And then, like I said, we picked up the water. These are just some walkers. Oh, that's mixed up. Okay, anyways, this is Current River. I guess I didn't get I put a couple of slides in here, but I forgot to put the pickup from Kekapeka Spring. So that's missing. And then we got into in 2019, we got into COVID year, right? So we really had to tighten things up and practice the safety protocols for COVID and tighten up the number of walkers. So we picked up the water from Current River that year. And this is a way that we mark our vehicles so that we know which vehicles are part of our water walk rotation, because they get lined up along the highway and they park a kilometer to a kilometer ahead. So this is a way of identifying our vehicles. And this is when we return the water. From the time we pick up the water to and all the time that we're carrying the water, we are putting prayers, good intentions, and songs into the water. 2 people are only walking at a given time. And we don't let you walk for more than a kilometer or a kilometer at a time. Sometimes you could walk even less, because sometimes people they want to come and join us on these walks, but they say, when I tell them, first it's 3 hours. Oh, I can't do 3 hours. And then I say 7 hours. And then I say 8 hours. And then I say 16 hours. And they say, I can't walk that far. You're not walking that far. It's done like a relay. So you're only walking a kilometer to a kilometer at a time, or less if that's what you need to do. We don't want to discourage people from carrying the water, because carrying the water is not only bringing healing to the water, but it's also giving you healing at the same time. And it's done like a relay. So it's a great experience and very healing for us as we do these walks. And that's the Mackenzie River. So in the east, that was our 4th year in 2021. And then, so I'm done. I think, okay, I finished my 4-year commitment, and I'm done now, I thought. But then I was reminded that Grandmother Josephine, all the water walkers across Turtle Island have made a promise and a commitment to her that we would continue her work that she began in 2003. And as you can see, there's a book on the table that was written about her. And so if you want to know more, that's how you could find that out. So in 2022, we started a whole new 4-year commitment here in Thunder Bay, and we've adopted 4 water sources. And we do these walks surrounding the full moon, starting in the spring. And our first walk is usually McVicker Creek, which is a 3-hour walk. And then we get the following month, following the full moon, surrounding the full moon, we do McIntyre River, and that's the 7 hours. Niibin River is 8 hours approximately. And then we got the Anishinaabe River, and that is over 16 hours. That's 2 days. And some of the dates change a little bit based on many reasons. So this year, and these are just some route maps. I just want to show you briefly. Thanks to the City of Thunder Bay, they helped us map out our routes so that we could hand these out for the walkers so they could have them in the vehicle, and then they have an idea where we're going to be turning and making our turns, because we're very grateful for that. So these are some more of our walkers. And then this year, so here you can see I'm walking by myself, because sometimes we begin the walk sometimes at sunrise, and we don't have very many walkers that begin in the morning. We don't want to get exhausted and tired out, because we have, especially the Anishinaabe River walk, because that's the 2-day one, and we don't want to be getting tired and worn out. So we start with just one and doing short stints for a little bit and then usually we get more people to join. And the only time we would do that where I would carry, or another woman would carry both water and staff, is when we're in an area where we don't have to be worrying too much about traffic and having to look behind us and crossing roadways. So it's just little mini stretches that we would do that in. And this is one of this is a pickup at Silver Falls Provincial Park at sunrise. And see, we practice using safety vests, you know, when we're traveling, walking on the highway, because we want to be safe too. This year, this is our 3rd year that we just completed, and this year was the first year that we transferred from land to water. And a vision that I had since 2019. I had that vision that I wanted to have the Fort William youth paddle their canoes down the Anishinaabe River as we were walking along on shore. And somebody was listening. The Lakehead University Outdoor Recreation Program reached out to me this year, and they said, I remember that you sharing that vision that you had about going on the water. Well, we can make that happen. So I'm so grateful. This year was the first year that we transferred from land to water. So the first day, we picked up the water at the headwaters at Silver Falls Provincial Park. And that whole time we're walking along Silver Falls Road, we are close to the river. We could smell her, feel her energy, and as we walk all along there until we start to the big highway, the Dawson Highway, and then that's when we start veering off and we start getting away from her. This year was the first year that I really felt that disconnect when I got away from her. And then as soon as we got close to her near Stanley is when I started getting excited and I just wanted to run. And because we had some big rain that week before we started the walk, because originally we were going to all go into canoes, and because at Stanley there was whitewaters there, so we couldn't necessarily go into canoes for our safety, because even though we had experienced canoers with us, we thought it'd be best if we went into this Zodiac. And so the water walkers this year became whitewater river rafters too. And so we paddled down the Anishinaabe River. I paddled a little bit, but that's my niece there. I transferred the water to her for a little bit so I could experience that little bit of paddling. It was pretty exciting. And then this is, as you can see, there's one canoe behind us, because we had to be a little bit strategic in our planning. When the university people reached out to us, I says, okay, that's great that you want to help us to go on the water, but I want you to experience the walking portion. So you need to come out the first day and walk with us, experience the actual walking of the ceremony. And they did. They were happy to do that. They actually beat us there. They were so excited to get there. And that was a good thing that happened, because when we got to Stanley and we needed to transfer to the raft, there's a process, you know, because once we activate because we did a touchdown at the Stanley to get all the equipment and the boat and everything all smudged and everybody cleansed, so that when we begin our journey, we're doing it in a good way. And once we need to get all into the boat, but we needed 2 people. So Kira and I can't remember the other woman's name, because they walked with us the day before. They activated the water and the staff for us, walked it to us, made the pass to us on the raft, and then off we were able to go. And they followed behind on the canoe and stayed behind us the whole time as we paddled the Anishinaabe River. And when we got close to the Fort William Historical Park, that's when they went to the far side and got out and was ready for me to make the pass to them so that they could go and do our touchdown. Because at that point in time, we were going to now transfer to canoes to finish our route. But the Thunderbirds came. We got a visit from the Thunderbirds, and so we honored them, and we're getting the canoes ready, hoping that the Thunderbirds were going to leave us and let us carry on. But they were persistent and wanted to stay around. And so normally we would just start walking again, because when we do these walks, we walk in all weather. Doesn't matter whether it's raining, snowing, ice storms. When we're in ceremony, we're in ceremony. Doesn't matter what the weather is. We dress accordingly, and we keep going. So we were going to transfer back to land and walk the rest of the way, but we didn't think of we didn't expect the Thunderbirds to come, and our shoes, our dry walking shoes and vehicles were already moved from the Stanley to our finishing point. So we couldn't. And then next thing you know, the eagles, a couple eagles appeared during the thunderstorm, and that's rare. You don't usually see thunderbirds flying in the same time as a thunderstorm, right? So I took that as a sign that they were giving us the okay, our work is done, we'll take care of the rest. So we returned the water and finished our walk at that time. And so, so I just want to give a little demonstration now. For those that are online, sorry, for those that are online, you'll just have to watch because you won't be able to hear me probably when I'm over there talking. But I'm just going to give a little example of how we carry the water. So when we pick up the water, as soon as we pick it up, we do our offering, our tobacco, and we pick up the water, and away we go. We start walking right away, right? And off we go, and we don't not looking behind us, and that staff carrier is already picking up, following behind me. And we have a staff carrier here in the room. Right, John? You want to give an example?
Sure.
Come on down. So as you can see, my staff here, I better just talk to the people online. As you can see, my staff here has 7 feathers on here, 7 eagle feathers, which is symbolizing the 7 fallen feathers. So we have for the love of the rivers, and then water is life. So this is our staff. And when John is carrying this staff, the turtle is always facing forward, eh? His eyes are kind of keeping us straight and safe. And so I'm walking, and he's walking either behind me or beside me. But he's not going in front of me unless we need to get across a road. And so we're coming, and then when we get into the city limits, you know, there's lights, eh? So then John's going to go ahead, and I'm going to start taking baby steps because I can't stop and I can't look behind. So he's going to go ahead and hit that green light to get me the walking signal, and then he's going to say, okay, go. And then I go, right? So he's my protector.
And then we'll reverse and then...
Yeah, and we keep going. So thank you, John. Yeah, so it's a little bit of coordinating. And like I said, he could go and offer the tobacco to the animals that we might pass. And the reason we offer tobacco to the animals, we offer tobacco to the dead animals because we're honoring and respecting them. Because they were here long before us. The animals were here before the 2-legged people, the humans. And the Creator ended up speaking to them, rounding them all up and saying, I want to bring the 2-legged people here to share in your land. And we need you to agree to sharing your medicines, your food, and even yourself. I need you to promise that you'll take care of the people. And so the animals, that's what they do. They take care of us. They offer themselves to us so that we could eat. They offer their furs and their bones. Everything, like in the moose, like we could use all those parts, right? So that's why we need to honor the animals for a share. And they taught us what foods are safe. Because if we watch the animals, if they're eating certain foods and they're not getting sick, then we know that it's safe for us to eat that too. So we had to remember, we got to remember those very important things. So last week, 2 weekends ago, we did McVicker Creek. Usually we do McVicker Creek the first walk of the year, like in the spring. But because this year, some water walkers were going to be walking around Lake Huron. So we pushed the McVicar Creek to September so that we would have a little bit of a break late in the summer and have time to go on the Lake Huron walk. Okay, where is it? Oh. So this was the water is calling, Niibin Giimiwan, and this is where we walked. It took 29 days. And Sharon Manitowabi from Wikwemikon was the lead water walker on that walk. And I joined them on that walk. I almost changed my mind at the last minute because my nephew decided he wasn't going to come. And I thought, oh, do I want to drive all the way to Sault Ste. Marie by myself, pulling my trailer? But I did, I went, and I'm glad I did. There was a period of time where, because before I even went on this walk, I was speaking to Grandmother Josephine's husband about us going on this walk. The last time this Lake Huron was walked was in 2005. And so this year it was walked again. Last year, Lake Superior was walked. And the last time that was done was in 2003. I did welcome them into Canada when they came through from Grand Portage and walked a little bit with them, but not the whole time. This was the first time I've ever done a big walk like this. And I was told that the last time the water walkers walked around Lake Huron in 2003, that it was a hard, difficult time for the walkers. They faced a lot of racism. And I saw, it'll be fine, I says. That was in 2005. It's 2024. It's going to be fine. But sadly, it wasn't that fine. My first day, walking, we were in the Sault Ste. Marie area, and there's times that we had to walk when we're driving down certain roads, because we're not always close to the water. Because of colonization, because of private homes and industry, we can't always be close to the water as we would like. So sometimes the roads are narrow and we need to pull over the best we can, and sometimes we pull into people's driveways, but not right close to the culvert, the ditch, as much as we can, right? But some people were getting upset with that, and one particular incident really hurt my spirit, and that's when I backed onto this culvert. Yes, I seen if there's a big open area with lots of trees. Yes, there were signs that said no trespassing. Couldn't see the home. But I stayed close to the road. I was on the culvert, and I thought, this should be okay. I say to the other two walkers, hey, this should be okay. No one should complain about this. Well, shortly, all of a sudden, someone comes barreling out of the driveway, and they pull up beside me, and my window's down, and he just starts cursing at me. And he says, can't you see those signs that says no blah, 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 trespassing? And I said, well, it doesn't quite say that. And he says, and I'm not really, I'm on the culvert, which belongs to the municipality, eh? Yeah, but I paid for it. And then he said to me, he says, if you want somewhere to park, there's a dump down the road. You could go park there. And that hit me like you wouldn't believe. For many reasons, as many of you are aware of our Indigenous women that are found in these dumps sites. So that hurt, that really hurt. It actually brought me to tears, and it took me a few hours, actually it took me the whole day to recover from that. I had to smudge and just take care of my spirit because it was really hurt. And I almost wanted to go home because I thought, this is the first day. And if I'm going to be facing this, and the other thing that really hurt the most, because I'm in a good space, I'm happy, I'm really enjoying the walk, and I'm, because when we're in ceremony, we're doing lots of singing, praying, and just good love and intention, into the water, and then that hit me like it, and that, like I said, that made me almost want to go home, but I'm glad I didn't. I stuck it out, and later on in the day, we were leaving Wikwemikon. I don't know if it was the same day or it might have been the next day. We're leaving Wikwemikong area at the Manitoulin Island, and I'm driving. I have another water walker is now with me, traveling with me, which was nice. So we're driving, and the windows are down because it was a hot summer day, even though the air was on, but we still needed some fresh air too. All of a sudden, I looked to my right, to the passenger side, and there was this huge, huge golden eagle that came up to my vehicle with his wings out like this, and then he goes like this. And you could hear his wings. 2 big hugs he gave us, and then he flew away. And I thought, oh, that, you know, so powerful and so amazing. And that made up for that negative energy that other fellow put on me the day before. But yeah, it was pretty amazing to see something like that. Because I didn't know that they were that big. And then, I never know where to aim this thing. So this is the end. We finished 29 days. It took us to get around Lake Huron. There was 3 areas that we transferred from land to water. We took a pontoon boat from Wikwemikong to get to Killarney, and water walkers were already there waiting for the pass, and then they took the staff in the water and off they went and carried on the way. And then another time, a couple of the water walkers took the water onto a tugboat to get us across to the States side, at Sioux, Michigan. And then there was one other time that we had to take a ferry over to, again, I can't remember the name of that place, but yeah, these are some of the core walkers here. Some of these walkers joined just for a couple of days, but there was 12 core walkers that pretty much stayed with us the whole time for the 29 days, but towards the end some left. And then there was, every time we reached a community, there was other walkers that would come and join us and give us a break and let us have some rest. And a lot of support came from communities and the people. So I want to ask, why is Nibi important to you? Anybody want to? It's just a question I like to throw out there, especially to young kids. When I go and deliver some of the times to the schools, these water teachings, the teachers will print this off, and then they'll make their own little notes of why water is important to them. And it's interesting to see the things that they come up with. And then, what commitment will you make to protect Nibi? So even though many of you may not ever become a water walker, but there are still things that you could all do. And even that's just going down to a body of water and speaking to the water and telling her that you love her and respect her and thank her. Sing to her. When you're in the shower, you could sing. And then when that water leaves your home through the sewers and gets back out to Lake Superior, that love is going to reach the water spirit that lives there and make her really happy. And one of the biggest things, one things I really like to point out is stop buying those individual water bottles, please. Because you're just supporting the big companies, big corporations that are draining our lakes, our freshwater lakes, and that's a given right for all of us. That's a human given right. We should all be allowed to have, we should not be paying for water. And there is a prophecy that one day an ounce of water is going to be more than an ounce of gold one day. And not only that plastic is polluting our water, polluting our Mother Earth, and most importantly, that plastic over time breaks down, and then it makes that water no good anymore. And then what happens to that water? It's wasted. And we can't be wasting. We should never be wasting water, especially when there's still First Nation communities out there that are still under a 20-plus year boil water advisory, and that's in Canada. You know, nobody in Canada should ever have to boil water, especially for 25 years or more. So we need to try and do what we can. And one thing I want to point out, these water walks are not, it's not a political thing. It's not activism. It's ceremony. Every step is a prayer from the time we pick that water up till the time we return the water back to Lake Superior. From the headwaters to where we return it. All our prayers and our love for the whole time that we carried that water is returned to Lake Superior to bring healing to the water so that we could have water for our generation and future generations to come. And it's so important that we all have that responsibility. It's not just an Indigenous people's responsibility, it's yours too. Because we all come from water, we're all made up of water, and without water there would be no life, right? So, so what else do I want to say? How much time we got?
10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. And so this is just if you want more information about us, if you want to join our Facebook group page, this is where you will find it. And come next spring, we will be in our 4th year of our walks, and that's when you'll start seeing notices of when the dates are, and then you could come and join. And there's protocols that you need to follow, and that's all listed in there in the pamphlet. We don't, there's no drugs or alcohol when we're in ceremony. Women wear long skirts because we are respecting ourselves as women, as life givers, and we're protecting our motherhood. And we wear long skirts to help us connect us to Mother Earth so she knows who's walking upon her. So when I wear this long skirt and my vibration of my skirt is rubbing on the grass on Mother Earth, she goes, "Oh, Niibin Giimiwan, bonjour," she says. and then the men wear long pants when they're in ceremony. So, miigwech. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
I just heard something today on the radio. I think we're all aware of how climate change is affecting the waters. That's pretty scary. I mean, the jellyfish up here, they're different than those in the tropics, but nonetheless, they are jellyfish, all the other species. And they were mentioning that Lake Superior is one of the 2 lakes on the planet that are warming the fastest. And I just wondered, you know, about what that's going to mean for us. So the work that you're doing is so important. And of course, you know, your love of the water, your love of the earth, and the need for all of us to take climate change seriously and advocate for a response that's going to make a difference, hopefully.
Yeah, Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake in the world. And if she's suffering, that's because of what's being done to her. And the water, that spirit is able to heal herself. It's been proven scientifically that she can heal herself, but she's at the point where there's so much strains that are being put on her that's why she needs extra help from us, by us picking up that garbage that is being tossed into into our water, and fighting those big corporations that are trying to pollute our water. It scares me seeing those big cruise ships coming into our port, into our freshwater lake, because I see what happens in the big, those countries where the salt water is. And that's salt water and those big cruise ships and the garbage that comes onto the beaches. That scares me. And with the talks about the nuclear waste being transported through our city, that scares me too. And it should scare each and every one of you. We need to do what we can to protect her if we want to have water for our future generations. And saying that it's solid nuclear waste and it's safe, all these tests have been done. Let me share with you, with Fort William First Nation many years ago, bark that was dumped in a bark dump on our lands from the mills. That's a solid too. You would think that what harm could that cause? Well, over the period of years, it's causing cancer with our community members. So, yeah, so it's serious. You got to think about it. So I'm just gonna, if anybody has any more questions, I could answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to share another song with you to wrap things up, and then you guys could have some refreshments. No questions? Yep.
I have an off-topic question.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation for walking shoes?
For walking shoes. Yes, so important that you have good walking shoes, good socks, because there's one pair of socks that I don't know why I keep forgetting to toss them, because every time I wear those socks, the friction gives me a blister on the outer edge of my foot. And so you got to have good socks that are going to be keeping your feet dry, and runners. Runners are really good. Good supporting shoes. Because you're not going to wear flip-flops, because we're walking on on gravel in some areas. Like when we're walking on the highways, we're walking on the shoulders, and there's rocks there, and so you got to have good footwear. And sometimes even like on the Lake Huron walk, we walk some trails. So we needed, again, good footwear. And if it's raining, we want to have footwear that's going to keep our feet dry too. So in that, the Water Walker book, Grandmother Josephine talks about how many pairs of sneakers that she went through on her walks. They went through quite a few. And so, yeah, it's really important to have good footwear for sure. And so we had Band-Aids. We had those skin type moleskin for our feet too. And, you know, we even had foot soaks that were gifted to us so that we could soak our feet and at the end of the night. But we were tired because we started sometimes at 3 a.m. in the morning because we wanted to not be out there with the traffic, heavy traffic, and the heat. Because remember, this was in July. The first 2 weeks of July, it was really hot. July 21st we started, and those first 2 weeks were really hot. And so we wanted to try and walk when it's cool as much as possible. And then the last week or two, it wasn't so bad. But like I said, it was an amazing experience. Yep.
I heard that people in the United States want to take our water out of Lake Superior and move it somewhere else.
Well,
And I don't know if it goes on right now. I don't really know, but
if you
I don't agree with it myself.
No. If you take a look at the different companies that are selling water, and they're calling it all sorts of names, different names, eh? But it's all the same water. I don't know where they're draining it, but sometimes they are. Nestle is one of the bad ones. And I don't know if I should be saying that over the system, but it's true. They're draining our lakes to sell for profit, and we gotta start saying no to that. Like, there's no reason why we cannot, especially here in Thunder Bay, we have safe drinking water. We could go to our kitchen tap and have a drink of water. We're not under no boil water advisories. We have safe water. So we could be drinking that water. There's no reason why we need to be buying bottled water, individual bottled water. When I talked about the dual water sources, so if you ever drank Loc Lomond water back in the day, if you lived in the South Ward, that was pretty pristine tasting water, eh? Because I grew up on it, and then one of my friends moved to Port Arthur, And I went to visit her, and this is the first time that I had a drink of the Port Arthur water that comes from Lake Superior. And I whoa, what is this? It had a different taste because it was treated much more than the Loc Lomond water. I didn't like that water, but now I'm used to it because everybody gets that water now, right? But if you, and I'm sure some of you had spring water before, like Kekapeka spring water. It's pretty tasty, right? Sometime I go to 2 years, for 2 years I went to Lakehead University for a summer camp with the youth, and it was science and knowledge of the land and water, the science side of things, and then the traditional side of things. So one day we had a water tasting, and I had brought in water from Kekapeka, which was spring water, tap water, well water, and lake water that was treated with a tablet. And each of the kids had a little taste of it to see which one they liked the best and which one they liked least. And they did not like the one with the tablet, the treated water with the tablet. But they loved the spring water. And then, so the scientific part of things, there was some special tools that universities, science people tested to see what the levels or whatever is. And actually, that spring water was really, really good. So with that being said, I'm going to now just close with another song, using my drum this time. And this is called the Wichita Song. It's a song that symbolizes the movement of water. Water moves slow, it moves fast and faster. Sometimes it gets faster and faster. So that's what I'm going to be symbolizing, how the water moves. One thing that water never stops. Sometimes you think it's not moving, but it always is, if you look real close. So that's the song I'm going to sing. And the kids in the schools love this song. It's a catchy song. So. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, eh. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita hey ya, hey ya, Wichita hey ya, hey. Wichita do ya, Wichita do ya, hey. So that symbolizes how water moves, because water moves really fast in the spring, and sometimes it gets really fast, and then it slows right down later in the summer, right? So it's a great song for the kids. And so miigwech for listening and coming out tonight. And yeah, miigwech.
Elder Sheila De Corte. Aren't you just wonderful? It's just so great to learn about all of that and all your experiences. So I'm the one standing between you and refreshments, so I will try to be brief. So just a reminder on your way out today, please do visit the gift shop. We have a new book called Those We Carry by author Scott Saxberg. Also, if you enjoyed tonight's lecture and want to learn more about the society, please do become a member. You can also do that at the front desk on your way out today. We do have a lot of upcoming events this fall, and so I'm going to read them very quickly, but you can ask me about them afterwards if you don't hear them all. We have a launch for the Those We Carry book on the 5th of October at the O'Kelly VC Armory. We are having behind-the-scenes tours on 5 October and 13 October. We're going to be having a Phantoms of the Galleries, so a haunted Halloween event, hopefully the 17th through the 19th of October. More details about that coming soon. We are also hosting adult drama classes for beginners all the way to intermediates. That starts on October 21st and goes for 14 weeks on a weekly basis. We have a free public lecture by Elder McKay on the 22nd of October, so we're really excited about that. There's an Ageless Grace class, a chair exercise and walking class that starts on October 23rd and goes for 5 weeks. We have a scrapbooking class then on the 27th of October. The Follow the Tracks book by author James Aldridge is going to be having its book launch event at the O'Kelly VC Armory on the 2nd of November. There's a memoirs presentation on the 2nd of November and another scrapbooking class on the 24th of November. So, thank you to our sponsor for tonight's lecture, Lakehead University's Department of History, and a thank you to our corporate members, Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper, Equipment World, and Woodland Heritage Northwest. And of course, thank you to our museum staff and volunteers who make events like this possible. So thank you to Sarah Silvestri for running technology tonight, Michael for taking care of refreshments, and Felicity who's down at our front desk making sure we all get in safely. Please do take advantage of the refreshments and have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Big George.